Imagine standing at a crossroads, your future stretching out before you like an open highway, full of possibilities. But what if the people riding shotgun with you, the ones you call friends, are secretly, slowly, turning the wheel towards a cliff? We all know friends are vital. They're the people who get us, who laugh with us, who stand by us. But what happens when those very same friendships, the ones you pour your heart into, start to become a wrecking ball to your dreams? What if the people you trust most are actually guiding you down a path of regret and missed opportunities, chipping away at the very foundations of your future? Today, we're going to dive deep into a story that's more common than you think. A story about how the wrong circle can steal your potential, and more importantly, how to break free and reclaim your life. Let's talk about Alex. He was a bright kid, full of ideas and a quiet ambition. When he started high school, he had dreams of going to college, maybe even starting his own business someday. He was good at math, loved tinkering with computers, and had a solid plan for his future. But then he met a new group. Let's call them the Seku, Fast Lane Crew. They seemed cool, confident, and always knew where the party was. At first, it was harmless fun. Late night hangouts, skipping a class here and there. It felt exciting, like he was finally living life on his own terms. But that excitement quickly turned into something darker, something more destructive. The core problem, as Alex slowly realized, was the detrimental behaviors his new friends normalized. What started with just hanging out quickly escalated. It wasn't long before substance abuse became a regular thing. Every weekend, sometimes even on a Tuesday, there was pressure to chill and relax with something that numbed the mind. Alex, who had always been focused, found himself agreeing more and more, just to fit in, just to avoid the eye rolls and the "what, are you too good for us now?" comments. He'd tell himself it was just for fun, just a phase, but the fun started to feel less fun, and more like a requirement. Studies have shown that adolescents exposed to peer substance use are significantly more likely to initiate and escalate their own use, a cycle that becomes incredibly hard to break when your social circle revolves around it. It's not just about the substances themselves, but the mindset that comes with it. A mindset that often dismisses responsibility and long-term consequences. Then came the academic apathy. Alex used to love school, loved learning. But with the Fast Lane Crew, caring about grades was seen as lame. When Alex tried to study, they'd call him boring, or say things like, "What's the point? School's a joke anyway." He'd find himself ditching homework to go hang out, or showing up to class unprepared, just so he wouldn't be the nerd who actually cared. His friends encouraged procrastination, turning every assignment into a last-minute scramble, or, more often, something simply ignored. This constant undermining of his personal goal achievement began to chip away at his self-worth. He started believing that maybe they were right, that his ambitions were silly. It's a common trap. If everyone around you is telling you that effort isn't cool, it takes immense strength to keep pushing forward. Researchers from the University of Oregon found that peer attitudes towards academics can predict a student's own academic engagement and performance, highlighting just how powerful this subtle influence can be. The lack of ambition among his friends was another silent killer. When Alex talked about his dream of coding games, they'd laugh. "Dude, that's way too much work. Just get a chill job and hang out." Any flicker of future planning, any talk of saving money or pursuing a skill, was met with cynicism or ridicule. They seemed content with staying exactly where they were, doing the bare minimum, and they expected Alex to join them in that comfortable stagnation. This peer pressure wasn't always overt shouting. It was a subtle, insidious force, like a gentle current pulling you further and further from shore. It was the constant jokes, the implied judgment, the feeling that if he didn't conform, he'd be left out in the cold. And for a young person, the fear of isolation, the deep human desire to belong, is a powerful motivator. It makes resisting these pressures feel like an impossible task. It's hard enough figuring out who you are, let alone doing it when the people you spend the most time with are actively pulling you away from your best self. The devastating impact of this negative influence started to become alarmingly clear. Alex's academic consequences were the first obvious signs. His grades plummeted from A's and B's to D's and F's. He started skipping more classes than he attended, eventually getting put on academic probation. The dream of college, once so vivid, began to feel like a distant, impossible fantasy. He dropped out of several advanced classes, feeling overwhelmed and unsupported. This wasn't just about missing a few assignments, it was about closing doors to future opportunities before he even had a chance to open them. A study published in the Journal of Educational Psychology revealed that students with negative peer associations are significantly more likely to experience academic failure and dropout rates, underscoring the direct link between social circles and educational outcomes. The social consequences were equally heartbreaking. As Alex spent more time with the fast-lane crew, he found himself drifting away from his old, healthier relationships. He stopped playing basketball with his neighborhood team, losing connection with friends who encouraged his athletic pursuits. His family noticed the change, but he'd shrug off their concerns, feeling alienated from their boring lives. He was trapped in a social bubble where conformity was king and genuine connection was secondary to superficial loyalty. He became isolated from anyone who might offer a different perspective, a healthier path. He was surrounded by people, yet felt profoundly alone. Then there were the financial consequences. Always looking for quick cash to fund their activities, Alex and his friends would occasionally engage in petty theft or scamming. It started small, a few items from a convenience store, but the risk grew with each exploit. While Alex never went deep into criminal activity, the constant flirtation with it created a shadow over his future. He wasn't saving money, he was blowing it on short-term thrills. He missed out on summer jobs because he was either too hungover or too busy with his friends. This lack of financial responsibility and involvement in even minor illegal activities jeopardized his future, creating potential legal records or just a habit of chasing instant gratification over long-term stability. The legal system doesn't care if your friends made you do it. But perhaps the most profound damage was the emotional and psychological toll. Alex was under constant stress. He felt perpetually guilty for disappointing his family and for his own failing grades, but also anxious about not fitting in with his friends. This internal conflict, this duality, led to a deep sense of negativity. He started developing symptoms of depression, losing interest in things he once loved, feeling perpetually tired and unmotivated. His self-worth diminished drastically. He looked in the mirror and didn't see the ambitious kid he once was. He saw someone lost, someone incapable of achieving anything meaningful. He lost hope for a brighter future, believing he had already messed everything up. This emotional erosion is often the silent killer, slowly poisoning your self-belief until you no longer recognize your own potential. For a long time, Alex felt like he was spiraling, completely powerless. He knew, deep down, that something was wrong, that these friendships were dragging him down. He'd have flashes of his old self, memories of his dreams, but the struggle to break free felt monumental. He was caught in a current, and every time he tried to swim against it, his friends would pull him back, sometimes gently, sometimes with a forceful tug. This is the implication of individual agency, that even when surrounded by destructive influences, a part of you knows, a part of you can choose. The path to change for Alex began with a moment of stark awareness. One night, after a particularly reckless incident where a friend got seriously hurt and almost landed them all in deep trouble, something snapped. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in a long time, he saw his life for what it was, a mess. He pictured his old self, the kid with the computer and the college dreams, and felt a profound sadness. This was the beginning of his journey of self-reflection. He started asking himself tough questions. Is this really what I want for my life? Are these people truly my friends, or just companions in self-destruction? This critical awareness, this recognition of destructive patterns, is the first, vital step towards freedom. It's like waking up from a long, confusing dream. Overcoming this challenge required immense courage and a willingness to face discomfort. First, Alex had to recognize the critical need for change. Not just a desire, but an absolute necessity for his survival and future. This meant admitting to himself that he had made bad choices and that his friends were not actually supporting him. It was a painful realization, a kind of grief for the friendships he thought he had. Then came the courage to distance himself from his destructive friends. This wasn't easy. He started by saying no to invitations, claiming he had to study or help his family. He expected backlash, and he got it. They accused him of being snobby, of thinking he was better than them. There were moments he almost caved, almost went back to the familiar comfort of their chaos. But each time he remembered that night of clarity, the fear, the shame. He gradually pulled away, changing his routine, finding new places to spend his time. It felt lonely at first, incredibly lonely. This period of isolation is often part of the process, a necessary space to rediscover who you are without external pressures. It's hard, but it's crucial. Think of it like shedding old skin to make way for new growth. Finally, and most importantly, Alex sought support from healthier influences. He tentatively reached out to an old basketball friend, and to his surprise, they were happy to reconnect. He started having dinner with his family more often, and slowly, hesitantly, confided in his older sister. She listened without judgment and helped him find a part-time job, which gave him a new sense of purpose and structure. He even found a mentor in one of his old teachers, someone he respected, who encouraged him to pick up his computer interests again. Building a new positive support system is vital. It's about choosing people who lift you up, who celebrate your successes, and who genuinely care about your well-being. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, goals, and growth, not just gossip and temporary distractions. Studies show that having just one supportive adult mentor can drastically improve outcomes for at-risk youth, proving the immense power of positive connections. Alex's story is a powerful cautionary tale, a vivid reminder of the profound impact our social circles have on our lives. It emphasizes the absolute importance of choosing your friends wisely. Loyalty and camaraderie are incredibly vital, yes, but they should never come at the cost of your personal well-being or your future aspirations. True loyalty isn't about blindly following someone into trouble. It's about wanting the best for them and, crucially, wanting the best for yourself. Friendships should be a source of strength, inspiration, and growth, not a compromise of your dreams. If your friendships consistently make you feel anxious, guilty, or less than, if they pull you away from your goals rather than towards them, then it's time to reevaluate. Overcoming this hurdle necessitates not just self-awareness to recognize the problem, but also the inner strength to make difficult choices, and the determination to forge a positive and fulfilling life, one that is truly yours. Your future is too important to leave in the hands of people who don't value it as much as you should. If you found yourself nodding along with Alex's story, then you need to check out this video right here on how to build a strong support system that champions your dreams,